Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today I have hit 10,000 subscribers. Or at least at this moment I'm at 9,982, so I'm very close. I'm going to hit it very shortly. So here is my 10,000 subscriber special. I was going to make a crazy one-shot cannon, but it kept blowing up on me. Spent over a month trying to do that. I was going to do something really creative, but then I found out armor stands actually get blown up by TNT. So what I'm going to be doing is my top 10 cannons of 2015, because that's really what this has been. It's about me being growing as a YouTube channel and how far I've came, and honestly I've got quite a few good cannons in amongst all those funny ones, and just some of them are quite good. So this is what I'm going to be doing today, is going over my 10 favorite cannons that you probably like, that you should like, and just really the cannons that are probably going to make your experience better. If you haven't seen all the videos on my channel, then I'm sure watching this video will make you happy anyway. So let's get on with the list. So at number 10 we have got one of my old favorites, which is the simplest hybrid cannon in Minecraft, and this one was really popular back in the day. It was one that I did over a year and a half ago, and then I remade it and made it just a little bit better to make it more just better as a hybrid cannon, make it a bit simpler, refine it just a little bit. There's not much to refine. There was really just a few things that were wrong with it that I managed to fix when I made it this time. And the reason I like this so much is because it gives beginners a really easy way to get into the cannoning world, because there are tons of giant cannons that can absolutely boggle your mind, and even to this day I haven't figured out how to do everything. Like left shooters, they're a pain for me to make. And for new people, it's really hard for them to get into the cannoning world, and showing them mechanics like hybriding and showing them in a form like this, it really helps them to just learn. And because there are lots of people that just have a few water walls, it gets them really excited when they realize, oh, I can use this to actually blow up someone's base. And honestly, that's the main reason why I like this cannon so much. So anyway, let's get on to number 9. For number 9, it is another old cannon that I made about a year ago now, or like 8 months or something, but it is one of my favorite cannons that I've ever made, because it was really my first true major cannon that I made that could do everything like sand stacking, hybriding, scattering, just pretty much everything. It's nothing compared to a lean ad archer or one-shot cannon, but it's just something that really put me on the basis of TNT cannons, and I'm still very proud of it. Of course, I've refined the design a lot since then, but it is one of the most viewed videos on my channel too, and it seems that a lot of people have liked it as well. It's probably just because it's really effective, and considering what it can do, it's actually really quite simple for what it can do. So that's really why I like it that much, and it's just built the basis for me in my cannoning life. Of course, I haven't built too many massive cannons. I'm still trying to build massive ones, but they take a hell of a long time to build, and I'm still working on them. And this one really just makes me feel like I've came so far since I've made this. So that's really why I like this cannon so much. And if you want to check out all these videos again, the links to them will be in the description below. But anyway, let's go have a look at number 8. At number 8 is a TNT cannon that is more specialized in something that you wouldn't really use in that many places. But what it is it is a slime sand stacker. And the reason I like this so much is not because it can only do one thing, or only because you can use it on 1.8. Those are the two major drawbacks of this. It's because you can use it alongside pretty much any other cannon. You can build a drywall cannon, which is just a cannon that doesn't have hybrid, or just a normal hybrid cannon, but you need to sand stack like 200 blocks. You can just stick this thing on top and have it firing away, and just wait till it gets to the top and then use your hybrid cannon. There's no need to build absolutely massive cannons when you can just build something as simple as this and have it do your job for you. Sure, it may take slightly longer, but it'll save you a hell of a lot of resources in the long run. And honestly, that's why I like this cannon so much. It just works really well for that one reason. And I can't wait to actually use it. I said I would use it, but I still haven't yet. And honestly, I feel like this cannon has a lot of potential. It's not very good by its own, but like I said, it can go really well with pretty much any other cannon. But anyway, let's get on to number 7. So for number 7, it is one that I'm very proud of, and the reason for that is it's a rapid fire hybrid cannon, and this has solved one problem that I've had for absolutely forever, and that is trying to get through regen walls. If you don't have some crazy cannon, even one-shot cannons have a hard time getting through regen walls because they can just regenerate themselves. So this causes a huge issue because you can't really get through the wall if every time you break the wall it regens itself again or creates itself again. So I love this because it fires a ton of TNT at it at once, so that way it blows up the shell, and then what it does is it blows up the area around it, so the water then destroys the obsidian, so that way they can't actually regen the wall, and then you can just destroy the obsidian and just keep going through walls like nobody's business. And honestly, I love how compact it is too, and because of that, it just makes this a really strong cannon for anyone that thinks, oh, these regen walls are going to save me. No one's ever going to get through my base. So anyway, now on to number 6. So at number 6 we have got the smallest hybrid TNT cannon in the game. So I love this cannon so much because I have done Redstone for over 4 years now, and I've done TNT cannons for over 2 years, so I am the best at compacting Redstone and just making really small form factor cannons, and this thing is absolutely tiny. But it still works as great as a massive hybrid cannon, and that's the main reason I like it, because it doesn't sacrifice really anything that's good about a hybrid cannon, and it still managed to fit it all in such a really small package and make it really strong and work really well. And honestly, if we can come this far in Minecraft, make something that's 5x4 instead of like 13x10, then it just shows how far we've came as a community and how crazy Minecraft is to think we can make something as great as this. So anyway, now let's get on to number 5. So at number 5 we have got the hybrid corner cannon, and the reason I really like this cannon is because it is a corner cannon, and what this allows us to do is most people will have tons of walls built out in each direction, but they don't really worry too much about the diagonal bit, and this is more case with the bigger bases. And what this allows us to do is take advantage of that, because normally people just have corner cannons that can blow up the very edge of the wall if they don't have water there, but this one allows you to destroy walls even if they do have water there. And the reason that is so good, it means you can save like half an hour and 10 times the amount of resources that you're going to spend on getting through someone's base by using this, and this can cause them a whole lot of strife, which is good for us and bad for them. And that's why I really like this cannon, and it got so far down the list because it is super effective at just throwing off people who think they are just God. Unless they actually put as much time as they do in the very corners of their base, they are not going to have any fun at all, because you've got to make a compromise in your base somewhere if you're going to make it as strong as possible, and 99% of people do this anyway, and at some stage I did as well. So anyway, let's get on to number 4. At number 4 is yet another slime hybrid cannon, but the reason I like this one is because technically it's smaller than the other one, and it's only 1 wide. And the reason I like this so much is because it is really the smallest possible hybrid cannon you can make in the game, but it doesn't compromise on anything. And the only major drawback is the fact that you can only stack 1 sand at a time, which you'll see all what I mean when you actually look at the video, but it is just really good, and you can just set it up really cheaply pretty much anywhere. You don't even need a whole ton of TNT because it only uses 1 TNT and sand at a time, and it's really just the go-to hybrid cannon if you go, oh, there's a base, oh, they only have a few walls, let's just quickly raid that base and be on our way. And if there's nothing really there, then you haven't really lost anything because you've only used a few bits of TNT and that, and honestly, that's what makes this cannon so good, and that's why it got all the way down to number 4. So anyway, let's have a look at number 3. So for number 3, we have got one of the best cannons that I've actually ever made, and it's not because it's massive, it's not because it can do 1,000,001 things, it's not even that small, it's because it takes pretty much the bare bones that you need for a hybrid cannon, and I just made a cannon that can really uses the bare minimal that you need for a cannon and stuck it in some sort of body that would work. So what this allows us to do is essentially make the cheapest possible hybrid cannon. Of course it's manual fire, of course it doesn't have any dispensers, it's all repeaters, it's still 1 button press, but you have to reload it every time. But it's really good for those who are starting out factions and find this crazy base and they want to go, oh, I want to raid that, but they don't have enough money in the bank, they don't have enough economy, don't have enough economy, enough money, they don't have enough resources, no dispensers, they can just pull this thing out and go, I can actually do this, and just have a really, really fun time actually getting through this. And honestly, most of my cannons are not just the basic massive ones, they are really the smaller cannons that most people can use, and really people can just build on the spot, and that's why this one is so far down the list. So now on to number 2, and what is so great that I could have a cannon that is at number 2, and this one is honestly takes my really good hybrid compressed cannon, which is one of the best cannons I've made and one of the most favorited and popular cannons I've made, and pretty much I compacted it down to the point where it is really just super reasonable. It's actually crazy how much I managed to compact it, and the one great thing about this is it has the same potential as the other one. It's not quite, because it has 6 dispensers for propellant instead of 10, but like on each side, but it's still really, really, really effective. And this thing is like half the size or less than that, and it took me forever to do some crazy stuff. There's lots of things that are going on. I use to power the hybrid piston, instead of sending a whole second line of repeaters, I actually used the same solid line from the comparator and turn it into a redstone. Put it into a redstone torch to add 15 ticks, and the reason I could turn it from a flickering thing is because you only take it when it's from 2 redstone, and then I pull it up. It's not really explaining it that well, you'll probably understand it more in the video, but the point is, this thing is crazy compact, and it is a hell of a lot cheaper than the original, and it took probably far too long, more than I care to admit, to actually do it. But as you can see, it is absolutely tiny, and I would highly suggest checking out this video, and if you do use my original hybrid compressed cannon, I would recommend that you use this one instead, because it is just so much better. Not because that it's any worse or anything, it is just a hell of a lot better. It can still shoot over 100 blocks, it can still do everything, and it is just absolutely mental. So that's that one, but anyway, let's get on to the grand number 1, which probably most people know what it is, but we'll see if you do anyway. So number 1 is probably everyone already knows what this is, but it is my 1.8.8 or 1.8.9 specific Leon Ad Archer cannon, and this one has been the most frustrating cannon I have ever built. But it took so long, it took probably like 18 hours to build because of all the stuff I had to do for it. And the main problem with this is you have to figure out ways to get old mechanics to work in 1.8, because a lot of the mechanics were screwed up, and I still managed to do it. I even got sand stacking to work, even though it only stacked like 5 sand, I believe it was. It's still really crazy that something like this can still be made in 1.8. So I know that not many servers are on 1.8 anyway. Even mine isn't. Mine uses 1.7 TNT mechanics now, but you can still use 1.8 cannons like slime blocks, because we have got paper spigot 1.8.8. And that's just really great for us, because we can still have these crazy, so you can pretty much have the hybrid airburst TNT cannon sort of thing. And this really just shows a feat of engineering of how far we've came on Minecraft. You could pretty much build this exact same cannon, but you would have it probably 4 times the size. This thing took forever to compact. There is no way anyone could have made this anywhere near this size unless they had spent all the time that I did. And I did a lot of clever things to make it so tiny. I made it so I had only the redstone torches on one side. That's not really that clever. But I had all sorts of stuff, and I would highly, highly recommend that you check out the video. It can slab bust like 20, 30 slabs at once. It can sand stack, it can scatter, it can do everything that you could ever want a cannon to do and more. The only thing it can't do is do it simultaneously like a one-shot cannon. But I'm pretty sure with the size of it, you'll be very, very happy with it. And honestly, that's why I love this cannon so much. And honestly, it just shows how far I've came. I'm sure in the future I'll make much bigger cannons than this, but this was the biggest cannon to date I have made, and it's really just got a very special place in my heart. So that's the whole list, and I'm sure everyone has enjoyed it, so yeah. So now that we've finished the list, I just want to say a really big thank you from the bottom of my heart for 10,000 subscribers, because when I started this, I was, I think, 13 or 14. I'm now 16 and a half, so I'm not an old 20-year-old man, and I've hit 10,000 subscribers, and that's pretty crazy to think. I'm not catering to a massive audience doing that much. Like, the audience for Minecraft is pretty big, but for TNT cannons, it's nowhere near as big, and for tutorials in particular, that's not even that big either. So 10,000 people, that's a lot of people. And also, here's another thing, which I also said back in my 2500 sub special for my Redstone house thing, that was really popular back in the day when I did proper Redstone before I switched over to TNT, is I live in a town of 800 people, and 800 people is not a lot for a town, but I have got 10,000 subs. That's more than 10 times the amount of people that live in my town, and that is mind-boggling to me. And another thing that is absolutely crazy is the fact that I'm in 5 digits now. That's honestly mental. To think that I've came this far is just crazy. My ultimate goal is to hit 100,000 subs. Don't know if that'll ever happen, but if I've got this far, I'm certainly going to go all the way. So anyway, I really am looking forward to going to 20,000 subs, all that, and I'm sure for this year my channel is going to be great. I'm going to be working on audio. I got my new computer, even though it's giving me hell at the moment. I just need to fix quite a few things with that before I do anything like that. I'm going to be working on my content way more than I probably should this year, but I'm going to, just because if I've got this big, I really need to step up my game. And another thing is, I've now got my server, and that's taken a lot of time too, but I'm going to be working my butt off to try and get that fixed. And also, we're probably going to have a reset, mostly because we've had one massive problem, but I'll be explaining that in probably the faction video that I do tomorrow. But anyway, this has just been great, so thanks to every single one of you, wherever you're from, the US, Portugal, UK, wherever you're from. I live in a tiny town, so the fact that I live in a tiny town with horrid internet and can reach out to pretty much every corner of the planet is really crazy. So anyway, if you like the video, then like it. Just shows me that you care. But if you don't, that's fine, and I'll see you around at 20,000 subscribers. So anyway, goodbye from TNT Madness.